Pregame.tv, Steve Fezzik, Teddy Covers breaking down March Madness. This is the best time of the year, college basketball action, and Teddy is here to tell us not only who's going to win it all, but who has a shot to win it all. He does an excellent feature every year in Gaming Today, and I know that's going on right now. And so without further ado, Mr. Covers, Kentucky wins this thing, right?
Yes. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Thank you. We'll be back.
Yeah, but I mean, from what I do with this particular article, I go through a specific statistical profile of what it takes to be an NCAA champion. And really, when you look at the modern era, say the last 20 years, with the exception of the two UConn runs, including last year's run that basically came out of freaking nowhere, they should have lost in the first round last year. They were on the ropes. They let him off the hook. I got to channel Denny Green.
Pepperdine at NC State dead to rights the first round in 1983. It happens all the time. Ball State almost beats the great UNLV team in the second round. It happens.
But the bottom line is that the statistical profile has been very, very good at projecting who's going to win, with the exception of the two UConn titles. And the statistical profile this year is very clear. You know, it's Kentucky and everybody else. Kentucky could lose, but I don't think they will lose. Kentucky deserves to be the chalk here. They are the chalk here. They're the best team in the country, and they're the best team in the country by a wide margin.
Let me back up the bus here. When you say they deserve to be the chalk, obviously they deserve to be the favorite over any other individual team. Mm-hmm. But should they deserve to be favored over this field of 67?
And that's an interesting question. Field of 68.
Yeah, well, they have not themselves. 67 against 1.
Oh, very good. Yes. Oh, he's so sharp. I will never question you on a math question again.
How many games are in the NCAA tournament with 68 teams?
What, 67?
That's right, because every game eliminates one team.
Yes.
Yes, that's the
that much I got.
Elegant way of solving it. You know. So, but if I gave you pick'em, mm-hmm. would you take? It sounds like you'd still take Kentucky.
No, it's a horrible bet.
Horrible, because you can bet yes or no right now at the win here locally.
Yeah, at about basically a pick-em price.
Even money for the yes, but you can bet minus 120 on the no.
Yeah,
so
it's a bad bet either way.
You'd want to book both ways. You think it's a good line by the bookmaker?
Well, I think it's a tough bet. Anytime you're talking about winning 6 games over 6 nights, you're getting even money to do it.
5 games.
You know, they got to win 6 to win a title.
Yeah, the first one doesn't count.
They still have to win it.
It's a bye.
Okay, over let's give it a 20-year window. Will a 16 seed beat a 1 seed in the next 20 years?
Sure, but it'll be some
because no 16 seed has ever beaten a number.
Yeah, but it'll be some Cincinnati team without Kmart that blew out his leg that
right.
Is laying 50, and it won't be Kentucky laying 34 against
Fair enough.
Monmouth.
But nonetheless, they still have to win 6 games. And when you talk about that, you can't run into the one guy who goes nuts and hits 10 3-pointers or hits the game winner at the end, which is something they've been, in a sense, been lucky with this year, is that they haven't run into that team throughout the course of the regular season. And number 2 is that you can't have a game where you just miss all your shots and can't get anything going. So there's certainly an element of luck involved. But if you're saying, I'm going to take my window, I have my money, and I have a choice between betting on Kentucky versus on everybody else, and it's, basically a pick-em price either way, I don't think either one's a good bet. Because Kentucky's going to win, but it's not the right price to back Kentucky.
Sure. And it'd be interesting if you took the no-vig money lines and you parlayed them all. I bet it would come out right about even money by the time you got done with it.
Well, it'll depend on who they play in the Final Four.
Right.
Really, in the last 3 games. If they face the number 2 seed in their own conference and then a couple of number 1, or in their own region, I should say, and then a couple of number 1 seeds in the Final Four, you might make a little bit more than that.
Sure.
If they end up playing the 9 seed in the
right. If they get the Dayton Flyers in the Final 8, and they
sure, and then Wichita makes the final or something, the Final Four or some mid-major or lesser team, and then there's a bunch of lesser teams that I think are live to make a deep run in this tournament. We'll talk about them in a minute, but that particular number for Kentucky, it's a bad bet either way, because I don't want to fade it. I don't want to fade them. I'm not betting against this team. They are the best team in college basketball. I expect them to win, and the NCAA tournament, the best team wins. This isn't like the Super Bowl or a Major League, the World Series where teams can get hot and someone gets, it's much more like the NBA, where even in those 7-game series, year after year in the NBA, when you look at the end, the best team won the title. In college basketball, most years are like that, even though you have aberrations.
As long as
UConn
Connecticut doesn't win, and Butler almost won a championship, but they
didn't cover the spread in the championship game.
No, they almost got.
They didn't cover the spread in either championship game.
No, they got there twice. So you could say they had a legitimate chance to being a complete Cinderella. And I know people said, oh, they weren't a Cinderella. They were a Cinderella. All right, Kentucky's going to win it, but
yes.
if something happens, if the guy goes nuts, if all of a sudden there's a lid on the basket for Kentucky, throw me out. How many other teams have a legitimate chance to win?
I'd say two.
Two?
I'd say two. I think that Duke is live to win. Zona is live to win. Maybe Virginia. And maybe Wisconsin. But again, Virginia and Wisconsin have the issues of bringing back star players at the wrong time of year to try to work them back in the lineup. So I'm going to say Kentucky and Arizona are live. Kentucky's very live. Duke and Arizona are good enough. There's enough talent on those two rosters to win 6 games over 6 nights. So they're capable of winning, should Kentucky falter at some point, of winning the title. And there's a bunch of teams, really a bunch of teams. You have Iowa State and Iowa and Michigan State, Baylor, North Carolina,
Iowa?
Oklahoma,
Iowa?
Notre Dame. I'm talking about teams that are live to make a run to the Final Four. Yes, Iowa.
Iowa?
Here's my list.
Not seeing it.
Here's my list. Iowa State, Michigan State, Baylor, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Iowa, St. John's, NC State, SMU, maybe even a Wichita or a Davidson. Those are teams that are all going to be seeded 4, 5, 6 in that range. And any of them, should things break right, are capable of making a run to the Final Four. I don't know if any of them can win the title. Well, I don't think any of them, but
Davidson's on the bubble, so they're not getting no number 4 seeds. So they'll be like an 11 seed. They're just barely getting in on all those A10 teams are jumbled anywhere from 8 to 12 seeds right now. So, but I agree. I think Davidson is a great sleeper. One thing about them, the
sleeper. They went 22-4 ATS. They're the best team in college basketball against the spread. They're no sleeper here in Vegas.
They're a sleeper.
They're a sleeper out there.
Yeah.
Not here.
But out there is here. That essentially, there's so many people. There's so much money comes in. Public money comes in and dwarfs what's bet during the regular season. That the public really takes over, and the public doesn't know Davidson. I don't think. I really don't. I don't think that they're given the same. Whereas I think they might more be inclined to recognize that NC State has potential as being a sleeper. That's more. I think if I walked up to 100 guys, in fact, we'll do a side bet. You and I.
Somehow I knew when I started doing videos with you, I'm going to end up with bad side bets because that's all you want to do is take my money in some crazy side bet. What do we got?
What we're going to do? We're going to walk up to like 20 random people in Vegas on the day of the tournament starts and ask them, who is a better sleeper team, NC State or Davidson? And I will bet that more people will say Davidson.
You just said more people would say NC State.
Oh, I misspoke.
You're too late. You got the bet now.
I misspoke.
And frankly, I'm not convinced you're right anyway. So.
Well, then I'll win by misspeaking. I don't think anyone speaks Davidson. I don't think they speak Rhode Island. I don't think they speak Dayton. I think they speak the power conferences.
Who has what it takes to win it all? It's Kentucky.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's good. But we can't bet it. So we can't make any money. Anything we can bet on that's. Can we? There's yes, no's. Any team that is highly thought of that can't win at all that we can bet against.
Absolutely, Gonzaga's not winning at all.
Oh, completely. You know what? And in fact, I think a yes, no in Gonzaga is great because you got 2 things going for. One, they're just not very good. I don't like like when they lost to BYU. That wasn't even an upset. That actually. It looked like the better team won to me. Now, of course, they get the rematch tonight in the Orleans. But the second thing is, the committee is going to screw Gonzaga. I can't wait to see what they do to the poor Zags. They're going to give them the number 2 seed. They'll stick them with the best 15 seed in the history of the planet, and then they'll put them in Kentucky's region. And I just can't wait to see how they screw over Northern Iowa and Wichita State. And everyone's like, gets so upset about this. I enjoy it. I'm like Darth Vader. The Empire Strikes Back. I love seeing the evil committee take out all of these little guys, giving them impossible draws.
It's what they do.
It's so comical that they don't want these teams in the Final Four. Would you agree with that?
There's certainly been a strong inclination in that regard. I don't think Villanova's has a chance to win it all. I don't think that Kansas necessarily has a chance to win it all.
I agree. I think Kansas is.
So of your top seeds, of your likely 1 and 2 seeds, those are 3 teams: Nova, Gonzaga, Kansas, that I will probably not have reaching the Final Four in any of my brackets.
Very good. So great talk. Kentucky's going to win it all. You don't have to watch the whole tournament. But, if you do want to make some money, we're going to come back. We're going to be breaking down individual games. Teddy has a winner for in the Big 12 tournament. Stay tuned for that. That's coming up in our next video, pregame.tv.
That was way long again. That was